Good morning. Happy Thursday. How is it Thursday already? This week it seems like it's gone by really, really fast. I don't know. It feels like to me, the more time I have, maybe I just notice it more, right? So when you're busy and you have to be a bunch of different places during the day, then that is an accomplishment right there, right? Just getting from this place to this place to this place. But when you're not and you're home, um, you feel like you should get more done, but it's kind of the same thing, right? There's a lot of transition between this to this to this, and we forget about that. The preparation that goes, right? So you've got three jobs you think could get done, but you forget that going from one project to another project requires a fair amount of preparation, organizing, finding the right stuff, then having to go find some more stuff because you found the wrong stuff. So think of that as travel time. Um, it's real. It's a real thing, not just in the car, but in your day. So I have adjusted some of my expectations of, of what I should be getting done because I'm not really getting it done. So rather than be constantly disappointed, um, a better a better way to look at it is, you know, maybe your expectations are a little unrealistic. Um, I think a lot of, especially early on, when we were all uh, trying to make the best of being home, um, we thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this project, this thing I always wanted to do. Um, and after a few weeks, that kind of gets old, and you get tired of kind of just driving yourself to get all this stuff done. So adjusting expectations, just like we adjust our practice. We may have to do that. Maybe we just bit off more than we can chew in one sitting anyway. Um, so that's how my week is going. How's your week? Hi, Linda. Hello, Sue. Um, that made me think of something else that I wanted to. I don't know. It's gone now. Um, so we'll give it a couple more minutes. I don't know where the clock on my laptop seems to have relocated. Well, that's fine. Um, oh, I did want to mention one fun thing. So my you kind of hate to find sort of silver linings in all of this, but it's good too, right? So one thing is that I've always lived out here on the edge of nowhere, right? Delaware City is like a tiny corner in a tiny state in a tiny nowheresville, and I love it here. I wouldn't live. Well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't live anywhere else, but I've been very happy living here and have no reason to move. But we miss out on a lot, right? There's not a lot local. Um, a lot of activities or things that you're interested in never get anywhere near you. So you travel a lot to get to do the things that you want to do. Um, So that to me has been very interesting how things have changed a bit. And I hope they kind of stay that way as things have moved online. Um, it's so much more accessible. So yoga teachers that I was interested in taking classes with, but didn't want to travel to the other side of the country to do so, are online now, and you can take a class with them, and you can learn a lot. Hello, Deb. Um, so look online. You may be surprised at what is available to you. My husband just signed me up for a birthday present. My birthday's next month. Um, I told him about it so he would know the gift. So there's a type of traditional Tibetan icon painting. So Buddha paintings of the Buddha that is kind of interesting to me. And if you've ever been in my studio, you'll see I have a lot of prints of they're called tankas, and there's a bunch of people who do them, but of course not around here anyway. So there's a lady in the Netherlands that makes a trip to New York every year, and I thought, well, one of these days, connection keeps freezing. Well, I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, maybe it's maybe we just don't have a good connection today. We'll just keep going, hoping it gets better. Um, so instead of coming from New York, she's doing everything online now. So I'm going to do that class, and I'm pretty excited about that. Um, so look online a bit. If you have some things that you've thought about you wanted to do, but you didn't feel like traveling, or it just seemed like a lot of hassle to try to arrange everything, take a look now and see what kind of accommodations may be available for people that are, trying to do things remotely. Um, it's a great use of technology. Um, it makes you wonder why they haven't done this all along. I guess just because people get used to doing things the way they always do things, and sometimes it takes something big to change all that. But I hope it stays because I like having access to all kinds of things easily. It's nice. All right, so sitting and breathing. Nice and upright, shoulders back. Setting aside any concerns or worries. We're going to focus inward on the body, on sensations in the body, the breath. Trying to keep that focus here and now. So during your practice, if you find your mind wandering, come back to the breath, come back to the pose. Um, Focus on what we're doing. It's hard, right? Sometimes our mind doesn't like that. Our mind wants to be busy, wants to be active. So it takes some focus to try to steady um, and stay with a pose, right? Standing in a pose, standing in warrior, warrior one, warrior two, it's not super entertaining, right? I mean, there's nothing really going on. So your mind naturally is like, let's go off, right? So this is a practice, and this is part of the discipline is keeping that focus, right? Um, Staying with the poses, staying with the practice, and knowing, right? I mean, we can get through this. We get through this every day. Um, some days are harder than others, right? Some days we're really up for it and we're like, yeah, this is great. Some days we're like, I wish I was in bed. Why am I even here? That's why you're here, because we learn things. We're trying to learn these things for ourselves. Our what are our capacities, right? Um, Getting through a yoga class may not seem like much of an accomplishment if you've done it a lot, and right, it's just pretty routine. But honestly, it can be one of the hardest things, especially when there's a bunch of other things to do, especially when you're at home and you could be doing anything else, but yet you chose to be here. You chose to be on the mat. So while you're here, make the most of that. And if you find yourself wandering, your mind is whatever, you're stepping away, you're doing other things, come back. Um, just like when we're in balance, if you step out, it's not the end of the world. You just come right back. Um, so everything is like that, right? You don't need to give up because you stopped. You just have to start again. That's all. All right, I'm going to move back. And we're sitting comfortably. So I am going to tell you, we all, well, I won't say we all, I believe that we all have a preferred way to sit cross-legged. For me, it's right leg out in front, right? That's just what I always do. So how about we do something else? Opposite leg out in front. Well, that feels weird, right? Okay. It feels weird. That's fine. So let's try this and just feel weird for a few breaths. Take a breath in, chin down toward the chest. And then moving your head around. A couple of rotations. And then reverse back. Back to center. Breath in, lean forward a little, and move around. One way and then the other. And back up to center. Arms wide. Deep breath in, and then hands together in the front. Inhale. Arms wide. Exhale, hands together. Inhale. Arms wide. And then on the exhale, hands together again. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands, gaze up, and then bring them down by your side. Inhale, lift, and lower, lift, lower. One more, lifting up, and lower. Let's lift both hands again, and then right arm down by your side. Reach across with the left. Switch sides. And back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind you, sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center, switch sides. And back to center. Tabletop. Sitting back on the heels, child's pose. So however you want to do this, there's lots of different ways. You may have a different feeling about it on any given day. You might want to have knees together, knees apart, hands out in front, hands behind. Whatever works. Try different things, right? Don't feel like you have to stick with just one way of doing it. Another might be better today, might feel better. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. And then moving back up, tabletop, downward dog. Bend the knees a little. And then step the feet up to the hands. We'll be in a fold for a few breaths. Rising slowly. Standing tall, breath in and out. Inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back with the right. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, moving back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward to your high plank, hold here for a breath, and lower down. Inhale, lift up head and chest, and lower. Inhale, lift, and lower. One more lift. And lower. Back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Take one more breath, and then we're going to step the right foot up by the hands. Left knee drops down. Arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the left. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Stepping back. Tabletop to downward dog or straight to downward dog. Inhale, forward to high plank. And lower. On the inhale, we're lifting up head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. And once more, lifting up. And lower. Moving back up. Tabletop, downward dog. Take one more breath. And then left foot steps up. Drop the right knee, arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Step up the back foot. And fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting arms on the inhale. We're back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're going to step back with the left. Press down, both feet. Arms lift, warrior one. One more breath here, and then warrior two. Right arm extends out, left arm behind. Shoulders relaxed. On an inhale, we're going to flip the right hand and then lift it up high. Left arm by your side, right arm lifts. We're still bending into that right knee. And then we're going to straighten the right knee, reach back with that right arm. And then we're lowering the right arm, lifting the left, coming into triangle. Back up. Release the hands and turn your foot. So we're facing side of the mat now. Hands at the waist or hips. Take your deep breath. Lean forward. Maybe bring the hands down wherever you want them to be. And then we're going to bring the right hand to center. So if you can't reach here, maybe you have a block. Or if you're up here, you can just bring hands at the waist also. And we're just going to twist. So either pressing down with that right hand, turning the shoulders, left arm lifts, or if we're up here, then we're just going to turn the shoulders, right? Either one. And breathe. And come on back to center. Same thing going the other way. So left hand down. And then turning the shoulders. And back to center. Hands at the waist or hips. Use that leg strength to help lift you up. Take a breath. Turn so we're facing the front. Right foot is out, left foot behind. Interlace the fingers in some way that you like here. Shoulders back. Take a deep breath and fold. Pressing down with the right foot, we're rising up. Back foot meets the front, arms overhead, back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lifting up, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Press down with both feet. Arms lift. Warrior one. Moving to warrior two. Relaxing the shoulders. Inhale, we're flipping, left hand, lift it up, right arm by your side. And then we're going to straighten the left knee, reach back, stretching the left side, and then lowering left arm, right arm lifts, triangle on the left. Back up, hands by the side, turn the foot. And we're facing side of the mat again. We'll do another fold. This time, some version of hands behind, reverse prayer, upside down reverse prayer, wrists, elbows, whatever you want to do. Just bringing it behind. Deep breath, lean forward. And back up. Release the hands. Maybe bring them up overhead. And then down by your side. Left foot out in front. We're facing the front of the mat again. Some distance between the feet, hands behind. Take a breath in, squeeze the shoulders back, and then fold forward. Press down with the left foot, rising up. Back foot meets the front, arms overhead. And back to mountain. Take a breath. And then let's work on some balance. Left foot, starting on the left foot, we'll do tree. Maybe a kickstand. Or higher up. Or higher still. Having that knee rotated out. Steady with the gaze. Eye level or higher. You can extend the arms if everything feels pretty steady. But it's not required, right? Staying here, staying at center is a good place to start if you're feeling a little wobbly, or, anytime you're feeling a little wobbly, bring it back to center. Then set the foot down and we'll switch sides. Standing on the right, finding that steadiness on the left. And everything back. Bicycle out the legs. And we're going to step out into Warrior 3. Give yourself a little room in front for stepping forward. Hands together. Take a breath. And then stepping out with the left. We'll start shifting the weight over so that we don't really need that right foot. And we're folding. So arms might be out, airplane arms if you want, or you could keep it to center. Try to keep the gaze a little in front of you so you're not looking straight down. It helps keep that feeling of upwardness, which isn't a word, I'm sure. But as we look down, we get focused, right? We start to sort of see that one spot, and that messes with the balance. So gazing out, up and out a little bit, just kind of helps. Set the foot down. And we're going to switch sides. This time, breath in and then stepping out right. We're lifting that left as we lean. Finding steadiness. If you step out, just give it another shot. Right? There's no reason that you can't work through these. You don't have to hold everything perfectly and rigidly for the whole time. You can move. Sometimes we just aren't in the right place. We need to shift a little bit. And we won't know that if we don't try. Set your foot back down. If you're not already there, bicycle out the legs a little bit. And then come on back to the mat. We'll be up at the top. Arms overhead. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Inhale, come on forward to high plank, and then lower down. Head turns to the right, arms back by your sides, or you can have them out in front. It's really up to you. Bring the head back to center. We're going to set up for Cobra. So we got tops of the feet resting on the mat. Hands about chest height. Elbows in close. And we're going to lift up, head and chest. Press down with the feet. And maybe hover the hands. Then lower down. Head turns left. Bring your head back to center. We're going to have the arms out in front. One arm on top of the other. And here's another opportunity to do something different. So whichever arm you naturally put on top, just switch it around. We're going to rest the forehead on the arms. Tops of the feet press down into the mat. And then we're going to be lifting up head and chest, the arms together. So all is one unit in the front, and then also lifting the legs. And then lower down. Head turns right again. Or you could just leave the arms out in front. That's fine too. And then arms back by your side. Palms rest on the mat. And then we're going to lift up head and chest and the arms and lift the legs. And back down. Head turns left. Or you could just stay to center. It's up to you. Just relax and breathe. And then we're going to start making our way up. Tabletop, child's pose. And then back up, tabletop to downward dog. Walk the feet up. And we're going to come down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall, deep breath in, fold forward. Coming back up, we're going to have, we're going to bring sort of this left leg is on the bottom, right leg on top. So this is called fire log pose because your legs are stacked sort of like logs. So if you can have this foot up on top of the knee, you can really kind of stack things on top. If you're up here, right, that's not going to happen, then just bring the foot out a little bit. So maybe you're not as wide across. Maybe you have a foot out in front. Maybe it's basically just easy seat for you. That's fine. Right? Again, we talk about this all the time. We're trying to just work through this hip. If your hip is very tight, we're not going to have to do much. Right? You may barely bend and you'll feel a lot through here. But if you're pretty flexible, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. Arms overhead. Take a breath in, fold forward. And come on back up, and we're going to catch a hold of the foot. So we're just stretching it out in front. You don't have to like really stretch the leg. You're just kind of making sure that everything is back facing front again. And then switch. So now right is underneath, left on top. You may notice differences on this side, but again, find what works. And then we're going to fold. Coming back up, catch a hold of the foot. Just going to extend it out a little bit in front. And then both legs stretched out in front, arms overhead. Breath in, folding forward on the exhale. Moving back up. And let's just sit in your staff pose for a couple of breaths. We're going to point the toes and then pull the feet back. So the toes are coming toward the legs, right? So when I say point the toes, so we don't point the toes like a ballerina does, right? We don't point like this in yoga, right? You can feel there's like a cramping sort of feeling. I had a teacher who described what we do as Barbie toes, right? So if you ever had a Barbie doll, you see they have those like stationary toes. This is how we point, right? Trying to show this. So instead of this, we're just like this. It's almost a flat foot, right? But we're pointing not this much, not really the ends, but like this part of the foot is pointed. So you see the difference between like this and this. Pointing, not pointing. Okay. So let's do that. Sitting up tall. Palms are resting by your side. Pointing the toes. Pulling the feet back. So there's nothing wrong with curling the toes to point them. But it makes my feet want to cramp up. So you may feel that way as well. But if not, then go for it. So this flexibility through the ankles is a good thing to work on, right? It helps us balance, helps us with all of these things that we're trying to do with the feet. You can do this just by pointing and flexing the feet. You in standing, that pose that we do where we come up, lift the heels, that's a good thing also for that flexibility through the ankles. Just a little bit at a time. Just keep working away at it. And then we're going to bend the knees Soles of the feet to the mat. Give yourself room. And then lower back, rock back. However you want to get there. We're on our back on the mat. Take a few moments to let everything kind of settle down here. We're going to have knees into the chest. Maybe move the knees around in some rotations. One way and then the other. And then rest your feet on the mat. Let's bump the knees together. Take a few breaths. Draw the right knee in towards the chest. Left leg is long on the mat. Then lowering that right knee out to the side. The rest of you stays pretty flat on the mat here. And then back to center, drawing across the body. So we're rolling up on that left hip. And back to center. Switch sides. Lowering the knee out to the side, left knee. Bring across the body, rolling up on the right hip. And back to center. And let's extend both legs long. And just relax. And we're going to move into Shavasana here. So whatever you want to do to get comfortable, let's do that. Settling in, feeling that support of the floor, of the earth, of the mat. We talk about equanimity a lot in yoga. It is sort of our goal, right? Our state of being. We want to have the feeling that everything is okay. That doesn't mean everything is great. It doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of bad things happening, terrible things happening. But it's the idea that we will survive, we will thrive, right? We will do what we need to do to get through this. Just like every other challenge that we've ever faced in our life. Um, it's a sense of security and confidence, right? If you don't feel very self-confident, think about that source. Think about the spirit, the spark of the divine that we all share, right? When we say namaste, we are noticing that in one another. But you can notice it any time, right? In yoga, we really turn that all over. Um, it's not about us. It's not about our separateness. It's not about our little preferences. I like vanilla ice cream. You like chocolate ice cream. There's only strawberry. What are we going to do? um, those things aren't important. And on a larger scale, even the things that we do think are important really aren't that important. When you think of things from an endless point, our spirit is endless. It will continue no matter what. And when you know that, when you believe that, it's easier to feel a little equanimity about what's happening. Um, that's the big part, right? The small part of that is to hold a little looser to our preferences and our desires. Everybody has them, right? Everybody wants certain things. They have preferences. I like this. I don't like that. Um, and that's fine. But when we hold them so tightly that we become defined by them, right? Oh, I'm just a person that likes this. That's just how I am. I can't change. Well, that's not true, right? You might think it's true. It's not true. Um, we can all change. We can all make do. Um, might not be our preference, but there is a power and a strength in knowing that you don't need this particular thing to get by. Um, what can you do without? How much can you do without? Um, these are interesting questions. And frequently in yoga, well, I mean, in lots of different cultures and traditions around the world, there's this idea of fasting or giving up certain things at times of years, right? Christian tradition is sort of Lent, right? You give up certain things. Um, and there is, an idea that maybe you're doing that, to honor somebody or something, but you're also testing your own abilities, right? Can I do this? Do I have the focus? Can I focus on this? Can I make this a priority? Um, Start small, right? It doesn't have to be a whole month or a couple of weeks. Try a day, right? Think of one thing that's very important to you during your day, something that you like, maybe something you like to drink, maybe coffee. Coffee's that's a very common one. People pick that, or something, right? Do without it for that day. If you always have this certain thing at a certain time, skip it. See what happens. Um, it's amazing the feeling of knowing that, hey, nothing happens, nothing bad happens. I could do it for 2 days. I could do it for 3 days. Um, that knowledge then allows you to go back to partaking of whatever it is that is your enjoyment, um, knowing that you are not a slave to it, that you are choosing to have this in your life instead of at its mercy, right? Desperate. I have to have this. I have to get it. It's a good exercise, especially in these times when I can't find chicken in the grocery store very often, and everyone in my house has decided that all they like is chicken. Oh well, we're gonna have beans instead, guys. Um, that for me, that's been something I've had to work on, is getting past that belief and feeling that, as a mom, my job is to provide for everyone, make sure that everybody has the things that they want, has the things that they need. Well, I can't do that all the time. Not going to happen. So, changing times. Um, be ready to change with them. So, moving around now, getting yourself back into movement. And when you're ready, coming up to a seat. Let's bring our hands together. Breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time this morning for yoga, for sharing it with us here. I hope you have a really good day. Namaste. Thank you for coming to yoga. If anybody has questions or anything, now's the time. I'll give you a little bit before I turn off. I'm just going to be here tomorrow because it's Friday. The week has sped by and we're already in the middle of May, if you can believe it. It's just so much. Oh, thanks, Rachel. I'm glad you can make it. Yeah, I have people that are doing this, like they just take their lunch early and do it in the morning if they're working, or they do it later. They're watching the video if I don't delete it. Hopefully I won't do that again. All right. Well, enjoy your day. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Or just save it till tomorrow. Wrap it up. Put it in the fridge for leftovers. And I will be back tomorrow morning.